right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you this morning. A little cooler today. We have a sense of winter coming soon, but no snow. I kind of half anticipated some snow this morning. Thank you for being here today for our Burning Bowl service, what we do annually. I think you are all well familiar with the Burning Bowl routine, those of you in the house today. If anybody's listening in online and is not familiar with it, try to have something on hand that you can use today for this ceremony. All you really need is a little slip of paper. We're using flash paper here at the church, which goes up in a flash. So you have to remember when you hold it in the candle, drop it immediately into the bowl. At home, just a slip of paper and a candle. You could light it in and then just drop it in a clay bowl or in your fireplace if you have one. That's what we're going to release the energy of, any impediment in our life, particularly inner impediments in our minds, in our hearts, anything in the way of our full freedom and peace of mind. And then another little slip of paper in which you might call it a letter to God or to the universe, or it could be just your intentions, what you want to claim and experience this year. That's what goes on that other little slip of paper. And we fold it up and put it in a little box. When we do ours at home, we fold it up and put it in our little New Year's box and put it on the mantle. And I always say, I'm going to look at that halfway through the year and see how things are going. And I never remember to do that. But we always look at it then the next year. We kind of review last year's intentions and visions and kind of think, well, is there something I'm going to carry over this year? And there's usually carryovers because we don't realize all our visions in a given year. So anyway, that's the routine today. We'll get to that, the Burning Bowl part, a little bit later. So let it roll around in your head today as we're sharing some ideas. What would you like to move out of the way to experience more freedom and more joy and more peace in your life? And what do you want to claim? And obviously there's not a lot of room on this little flash paper, so don't go overboard on what you're going to get rid of. Kind of boil it down. Would getting rid of my fear be good enough? Or my resistance to what is, or whatever it might be. So as always, it's good to have you here, good to have folks listening in online. Joe and I are also your musicians today, and we're going to probably start with a prayerful song to begin to think about what we want to lift up in prayer together. I noticed some of you have already used the Joys and Concerns table. That's wonderful, just to light a candle for something you want to bring a little more light to in your life or someone else's. And invite folks listening in online. Anytime you can go to the UnityDelawareOhio.org website. There's a place to send in a prayer where it will be held in confidence here at the church. So we're going to go into prayer with a really simple little chant. Seems perfect for New Year's, about remembering who we really are. Deeply God-connected beings. It's a chant by Melissa Philippe called I Am Remembering. If you want to hum or sing along quietly, feel free to do so. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. Just like that again. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. and even more in touch with who we truly are at depth. We are one with the living God. We are one with that power, that presence that is with us always, that has always been healing us and restoring us and renewing us and guiding us in the path of life. We are heirs and offspring of the living God. This is our source. This is who we truly are. All other things are ephemeral and insubstantial and unimportant, things that shift and change and move through our lives. But we ourselves are always one with the living God. We affirm this truth for each one in our sanctuary this morning, for everyone in our community listening in, for living beings across the planet, each one unfailingly God-connected, God's power and presence available to them at all times and in all circumstances, God's healing power flowing in our midst unceasingly. This is the truth we affirm this morning, and we are grateful, and so it is. Amen. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you to stay right here, Joe, because I think we're going to go right into another song that's kind of about that idea that we are deeply God-connected beings. We are at all times living in the heart of God. And this is a song that goes to Jan Garrett and J.D. Martin, who many of you know and appreciate their talent. I think it's a beautiful song, Living in the Heart of God.
Nothing is ever lost, and we're not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we're not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. You can sing along if you like. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Morning sun coming through the trees, and the green leaves shimmer in the summer breeze. The songbirds singing to the honeybees, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We sleep in dreams both deep and bright, sailing through the velvet night, refreshing the soul to the Spirit's delight, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Once again. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God.
So it is. How about an amen on that? Amen. Amen. All right, well, we'll do another song or two after a bit. it, but I wanted to share some ideas with you about coming home to ourselves, really, about coming home to that deep awareness of who we are at source, coming home to that and setting aside any impediments that block our awareness of that and living from that deep truth. So my title is Home to the Heart. I was thinking about, I was looking for some humor having to do with homes and houses. I didn't come up with a whole lot, but here's what I've got. It's a kid's riddle. What does a house wear? A dress.
Well, that's good. I was going to say houseware.
Like it. The sillier the better as far as I'm concerned. Why did the house go to the doctor? It had a window pane. Okay. I thought this one was kind of funny. The price of a new home these days, it's so high, only cats can afford it. You know why? You need 9 lives to pay it off.
There you go.
Then I just found a couple of interesting quotes that I thought, I really like this one. It says, home is not where you were born. Home is where all your attempts to escape cease. Isn't that a lovely idea? I think that's absolutely true. All your flight fantasies, all your desire to run for some reason or escape from something cease. You're home. A sense of having what you need and being where you need to be. Thich Nhat Hanh talked about meditation as going home to yourself. To meditate is to go home to yourself. He said, then you know how to take care of the things that are happening inside you, and you know how to take care of the things that happen around you. You are home. You are in touch with all that you need. Home is a big word, a very big word. It seems simple, and we use it in simple contexts, but it's always been more than a place. And I think we know that. We use it very widely. I remember I used to do a lot of volunteer work at hospice, home care volunteer, and for a while I volunteered with the chaplain team. And I was often struck by how often people talked about wanting to go home. Maybe some of you have heard that. Wanting to go home in that final stage of life. And I remember my own mother saying that toward the end of her life. She was in a hospital in Atlanta near my brother's home. She would talk about wanting to go home, and we didn't know where she meant. To my brother's home, to your condo in Florida where you've been the last few months, to your home up north in Ohio. What kind of home? Where is home? It's always more than just the physical dwelling we happen to be abiding in at the time. So it really, learned this new word lately. It's actually from Welsh. That I just think we really need a word like this in English. It means longing for home. I won't pronounce it well, but it's called hiraeth, and you're supposed to roll the R, hiraeth. See, I'm an old teacher. If I had a whiteboard, I'd put it on the whiteboard. Hiraeth. Want to try it?
Hiraeth.
Good. I think I heard some rolling R's. Good work. But hiraeth means longing for home. And it's understood that it means more than just a place. It could be a place you've never been. It could be a place you've only dreamed of. The meaning of the word includes all of that in Welsh. It's just this longing we have for that place of belonging, where all our efforts, our desires to escape cease. We're home, we're safe, we belong, we're connected, we're at one with creation. Somehow it's all of that, this longing for home in us. And it shows up in our lives in all kinds of ways. We feel it in all different kinds of contexts. You can feel that sense of home in a community. Many, many times people who find a church that's right for them, after they've been shopping around, I've heard it a lot at this church, at Unity churches, we hear it all the time, that it felt like coming home. I felt at home. It's like you're sort of aware, there's a sense of kinship with this community. It feels right, there's a fit, there's a sense of being home. Could be a person you feel at home with. There's a sense of that. I've always remembered this, a gentleman I used to work with at OSU when I had a tech writing job there for a while in my 20s, and he talked about how in his first date with the woman he was going to marry and spend the rest of his life with, the reason why he knew it was such a good fit was on their first date, she just fell asleep in the car beside him. Well, there's something to that, a sense of safety, of belonging, of being home. You can rest. No efforts, no struggle. It could be a feeling we get from a song, I was really struck by a story I heard on CBS Sunday Morning last week, I think it was, about people's deep love for John Denver's song, Country Roads, Take Me Home to the Place Where I Belong, West Virginia. And it's become really an anthem for West Virginia. I didn't realize they sing it at the end of all home football games this is the University of West Virginia. They sing it at all wedding receptions in West Virginia. It's very, very popular. It came out in 1971, and it was John Denver's first big hit. And it was at the height of the Vietnam War. And so there were a lot of thousands of soldiers away from home, longing for home, feeling that Harriet. But people resonate with it everywhere, and it's not just in this country. And it doesn't have anything to do with residing in West Virginia. And John Denver never lived in West Virginia, and his co-songwriter, a man named Bill Danoff, he was from Massachusetts. He'd never been to West Virginia either. He liked the sound of West Virginia better than Massachusetts. So it's not the place, and the song has just, over the years, it's used everywhere. It's used in Germany's Oktoberfest celebration. Everybody sings Country Roads. It's very popular in Jamaica and in Brazil, and it's huge in Japan. Everybody sings that song, and obviously it has nothing to do with any particular place. It has to do with that longing for home that we all feel, and somehow that song captures it and makes us feel it more strongly, that feeling that we all have, that Harriet, that longing for home. So it's always transcended place or geography. It's always been, had this deep meaning of a place in the heart, a place in the heart. And when we're there, we know we can rest and we belong and we're safe and we're in touch with all that we need, and we don't have to try to escape or struggle or move or find it somewhere. So how do we get home? It doesn't require any travel or change in geography, obviously, just a change on the inside. It's an inner shift, a change in perspective, perhaps. There's a Buddhist teacher and writer by the name of Jack Kornfield who talks about prayer as an orientation of the heart. We reorient the heart toward source, toward God in us, toward that power and presence, that spirit. And that's an inside job we can do anytime, not just in sitting prayer time or meditation, but anytime we remind ourselves we're deeply God-connected beings. That's our true source. That's who we truly are. We are bringing ourselves home as we do that, I think. And then if we can be at home in our hearts, then we can go anywhere. And we can face whatever we need to face. And know we're home. We're still home wherever we go. Jesus had such a deep awareness of this, unquestioning awareness of this. He was able to say, the Father and I are one. Knew who he was, remembered. Put that, I always love it with the word remember. It also means put back together, put the members back together, remember. It's like puts us back together when we realize we're home in God. That's our true home. And we can be home anywhere when we begin to have that realization and practice it. And practice it by affirming that. That affirmation that Jesus said in the Gospels and accounts, the Father and I are one. I know of no better affirmation to use as we move into a new year of our lives than God and I are one. God and I are one. And the words you use don't matter. It could be Father, Mother. It can be God. It can be Spirit. It can be I am one with Source. Whatever works for you, it has that same impact in reorienting ourselves toward our true home, like a homing signal, and we can help guide ourselves there as we affirm words like that. Why don't we say that together as an affirmation? God and I are one. God and I are one. And particularly in times when we're feeling a little disconnected and a little rattled and a little anxious, to affirm that and let that work in our consciousness. God and I are one. That means I'm in direct touch with the answer to all my needs, with all the guidance I need, with all the hope, with all the encouragement, with all the energy I need. I'm in touch with that now. God and I are one. That can make for a real shift in our minds and hearts and a real change in our days and nights when we do that. And the more we do it, the more we begin to live from that consciousness that we're not alone. We're being guided. There's a power and presence with us. We can listen for, feel for, moment by moment, through our days, through our nights. So we're going to move into our burning bowl, a little ceremony. I've got the burning bowl set up on the back. And the thing to think about in terms of burning up is anything in your mind and heart, anything on your mind, anything burdensome, that is in some way blocking your awareness of yourself as one with God and in touch with all the healing power and energy and wisdom and peace that you need to move through your days. What is it? Whatever that might be, that's what we want to burn up and release that energy for other things, because we won't be dwelling on that anymore. So the energy will be freed up to remember our oneness with God and be guided by that in our path of life, whatever that is before us. So there's so many things I think of, we burning them up or working with them throughout our lives. I think our egotism, our insistence that we have to do it all ourselves, our own way. That's something we need to kind of move out of the way. Our anxiety, or our regrets, things we've done wrong, get them out of the way. Finished, done. We don't want that blocking our awareness. If we're in touch with God now, God's living power and presence in our lives. Any resentments we want to set aside, burn it up, release that energy for other things. Life is too short to carry resentments and animosities in our hearts. It's too burdensome, it's too heavy. Our apathy, our cynicism, our discouragement. I think there's a fair amount of discouragement in our world. We've been through a long pandemic. We're not out the other end of it yet, still dealing with waves of it. Though making progress, I'm seeing the light as we move through it, but there's a lot of sense of, it's been burdensome, it's discouraging, it's slow, the return to a greater freedom that we want to experience. That discouragement doesn't help me. I'm going to burn that up. I'm going to burn that up. Anything that limits me or blocks me. Any shame about anything in the past or any mistakes I've made. You want to get that out of the way. You want to burn that up. Any fears that are burdensome that we dwell on, particularly ones we dwell on a good deal in our minds or hearts, we want to let those go. We don't have to carry those with us. We can burn them up and know that energy is being released for other things. And our despair, if we feel despair at times, we want to let that go. We want to burn that up. We don't need that. That squashes all our energies, and we don't need anything that squashes our energy deep within us. So I'm going to invite you to just think about that. I see some people writing that little piece of paper. You'll know, you don't have to go into great detail with it. You'll know what all you mean when you just put a couple of key words down on that little flash paper. And we call it flash paper because it goes up in a flash. So in a couple of moments, Jill and I are going to do a little chant while you take a moment in your own time to go back to the candle table. And the burning bowl is set up there with a candle in it. As you light it, just drop it immediately into the bowl that's right around that center candle. So don't hang on to it. It's very different from regular paper. It'll flash up immediately. So kind of take your moment of prayer before you do it, and then light it and drop it. And then your letter of intentions. That's something you can kind of keep working on even after the service a little bit. And if you want to put that in the envelope and put your address on it, we'll mail it back to you later in the year so you can see how things went. It's your kind of letter to the universe. So you could put that in there, put your name and address on the outside, and it's like kind of sealing up your intention for the year. But you don't have to do that right at this minute. You can even kind of do that a little afterwards. So folks at home, same thing for you. Any little slip of paper to burn up and then release so that you can kind of see it all burning away, those barriers, those limitations, and then hold in your heart those new intentions for the new year and write them down on something. All right, Joe Connor, why don't you come on? We're going to do a little chant while you pick your own time when you want to go back to that table back there and do the burning bowl thing. And this is a chant by, I think it's Michael Stillwater. It's a very simple little chant. If you want to hum or sing along as you're dropping off your burning bowl slit back there, feel free to do so. You see that okay? Mm-hmm. May we all return. Michael Stillwater chant.
we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. Let's just close our eyes for just a moment and affirm our intention with what we have just released, whatever we have put on that burning bowl slip and dropped into the flames. We've released that from our lives. We are free of it. We are free of it. And if it comes into our mind again in the days ahead, we just remind ourselves we've released that and let it go. We are free of that. We are unencumbered and open to the great flow of life in us and the unfolding of blessings before us as we move forward in this new year of our lives. We are unburdened. We are free, unlimited, in deep touch with God in us, and that makes all things possible. And so it is. Amen. Well, before we move toward closure, we just thought just for fun, it would be fun to do this. It's not a very churchy song, but I know you'll know it and maybe want to sing along, and it just seemed fitting and kind of a fun thing to do.
It's not even a country song.
It's not even a country song, and we know it's not really about West Virginia. So if you want to join in at any point on a chorus, feel free to. We've done this a lot in retirement centers. People love to hear this.
Oh, yeah. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather around her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, I hear her voice in the morning hour. She calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Good singing.
Good singing. I heard it behind those masks. All right. Now, he's wearing a couple of hats today and doing a great job with both of them.
Where are my hats?
Yeah. So we appreciate your being with us today. We're going to close out the virtual service here in a moment and then move on to some community news and announcements. And our wonderful board treasurer, Linda Comstock, is going to lead us in that. So come on up.